Hi, we are looking at the Empress. It's all about our lovely Empress. Wonderful card. And this is a card of Mother. So if there's anything about the Empress that you need to actually know, it's all about the fact that this is the mummy of the tarot deck, the Mother. She is linked to Mother Earth, and she is astrologically associated with the planet Venus. She's linked to the planet Venus, and that is all about the things that are to do with beauty, love, romantic love, and physical, sexual love. It is linked to both. How do we know that? Let's look at our Empress. There she sits. She sits on what looks like a stone bench, but she has some beautiful flowing sort of fabrics behind her, what looks like a cushion and a blanket, and she's surrounded by nature. So the sitting on the bench is symbolic of being very grounded, being very earthy, and knowing that she is stable. And the luxury of the cushions that are there behind her is showing that's what she enjoys. She wants to actually be good to herself. So if this pops up in a reading, this is a card of being good to yourself and valuing yourself and spoiling yourself and giving yourself that time to do what it is that makes you feel beautiful or wonderful or extravagant, as in, and full of the beautiful things that come from within you. And that's putting that out on show. Things like self-care and allowing yourself to value who you are and treating yourself to the things that you want. And that's everything, everything, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Very nice, as far as when this comes up in a reading. I would say that it's about mothering yourself, nurturing yourself. Let's assume that this is coming up in the position of the person that's having a reading, which we call the querent, and it's come up in position about them. Now, in the spread that I actually use, you will know I talk about this a lot. There's lots of different positions, so there can be outside influences, others, all that kind of thing, which you can learn on my courses, and it's a template for you to be able to say, who is that? Where is that? How is that? When is that? And that's what that actually does on that one spread. You won't ever need another spread. But for the sake of looking at just one card, our Empress, we are going to assume it's about the person having the reading. And for tonight's tutorial, I want you to imagine that is you. This has come up saying you must value yourself, you must take care of yourself, you must give to yourself, and you must give yourself pleasures. The pleasures can be that of love, amour, the physical and the emotional together. Now, I said, how do we know that this is not just the emotional kind of love? If we look at the Empress, you can see that she has got her feet on the ground there, and we can see one of her shoes, which is red, peeping out. But if we look at her lap, her knees are apart. So her feet are together, her knees are apart. Feet together, showing she's a bit shy. The red, meaning that she is confident, quietly confident, and passionate. And knees apart, showing that she knows that expressing her love will take that of the physical, the sexual kind, or physical can be hugging, cuddles, massage, anything where it shows an act of love. And of course, it could be for the self, or it could be somebody that the Empress loves and cares about. If we look at the colour of what she's sitting on, the orange cushion behind her, that is about joy, and that is about abundance, and that is about pleasure. So the orange represents pleasure, joy, and it's linked to our chakra that is orange around the navel, which always wants us to be good to ourselves, to fulfill our desires, to have joy, to have pleasure. That's why sometimes when you see advertising orange, it actually makes you feel hungry, it makes you want to spend money, and it makes you actually want to eat. So if you go in a restaurant or a supermarket and you're encouraged psychologically to act on that. And when I was training, we had lots of people coming in saying psychologically, how can we actually get people to buy more, eat more, or spend more? And these are the kind of things that we used to do as students. I trained for a very long time. Over 5 years, that's on one particular course, and then lots of different things. I do urge you, if you can do workshops or courses, books, wonderful books, do encourage you to actually really give to yourself, just like the Empress. So red is passion, and fulfilling ourselves and having joy and pleasure is the orange cushion. And she's got the red shoe. She's also got the red cushion there behind her, and she's sitting on what looks like a blanket that again is reddish. And that again is symbolic of passion and desire. So all this is part of your reading. All of this symbology and the colours that's in the Rider-Waite is very much there to give you the clues of what it is that's coming up in your reading and what that message is. The yellow in the background is joy, happiness, cheerfulness, wonderful. It really is wondrous, as in to tap into that and feel that joy in your solar plexus, your chakra. That's another thing. Look at chakras. They will tell you something because the colours linked to the cards and will tell you everything. So it's all about decoding it or interpreting it. And each time you might see something different. But if we go through the symbology, you will be forewarned, forearmed, and have that knowledge. So next to her bench, we can actually see that we have a stone. And that stone is laid there in like a heart shape beside her. And on that stone is a symbol of Venus. And so the Empress is linked to the planet Venus. And this is all about love, abundance, and being able to manifest things of a practical kind. So the Empress is, it's a beautiful card, and it's all about, and one thing I would say is remember it's the mummy of the tarot deck, but also remember it's about value. When this pops up in a reading, it's about value. And if it's about you, you must value you. And that means that you must give and nurture self-love, self-care, self-development, taking things into the place where you feel happy, where you feel joy, that you feel that you are being mummy to yourself, that you are being that mother, that you are giving to yourself over and over the pleasures, and also expecting other people to treat you in such a manner. Because if you value and care for yourself, people will know that and feel that from you. And they will give, and it will be harmonious. The Empress is also about abundance. And if we look at what's going on in the background there, we can see that there's a forest behind. And the forest is symbolic of growth, and it is very much about the fact that things grow, and she's in a position to show that with care and nurture, that she is able to make things happen. Even her gown, look at that, it's white, that symbolizes purity. But there's pomegranates on the design of her gown. And in this case, the pomegranates are representing the fact that growth is there and that the seed can be planted to make things grow, so that when you actually nurture something, and this is a big word for the Empress, nurture, that self-care, or that love that goes into something. If you plant a seed and you love it and you water it and you tend to it and you protect it from the elements and you feed it, you're in a position then to watch the growth. So that's what the Empress is all about. So the pomegranates are all about the seeds of growth that are being planted and that they will flourish. The green that's in the symbol of Venus that's on that stone that's resting at the side of the bench, again, is all about the fact that we are being looked after by the universe. Love from the universe, that green reminds us that we are supported by the universe, that we are loved, and that there is fertility and abundance if we look around us. And I always say, green represents, don't forget that the universe is supporting you. And so whenever you go into something that's like a forest or greenery, or you're walking on the grass, green's everywhere, isn't it? It is about the fact that you're being supported. All you need to do is ask. And when you ask, you then need to get your thoughts and your emotions and your actions into manifesting that practical thing that you want to be tangible in your life, whatever it is, whether it's actually growing the wheat that's in the front of this card. Look at that. You can see the wheat that's there. And that wheat is, again, significant of the fact that she has already planted it and it has grown and it is going to feed, and it can be used to actually nurture her. It can be utilized as food, and the growth and abundance is all around. The Empress, as I said, works in conjunction with the planet Venus, and it's things that we hold dear and value in our lives. This is also a card that looks like this lady is adorned with a fluid sort of gown that she's wearing that's got plenty of room in it. And that makes us think that she is ready to give birth to new life. So she may actually be with child in this actual image in our figure on the Empress card. Or she may have children, or she may want them in the future. That gown is symbolic of being able to go through life and give new life, as in through birth or pregnancy, or simple issues of motherhood. And so it's all about fruitfulness and nurturing. It's a big card of love and romance. And when this comes up, if this came up with a court card, and the court card represented somebody that the client was actually asking about in a reading, and it comes up as, let's say, Page of Wands, which is Sagittarius, and they're asking about Sagittarius, you probably know that if you fuse the two cards together, that you'd be getting that the Sagittarius is talking about how beautiful you are, as in to him or her. By the way, I do combination cards on Tuesday, and we'll be doing the Empress and showing you how to pair cards together. So you build up the picture and put the pieces of the puzzle together using pairs and combining cards. We'll only use the Empress as the major arcana, and be using minor arcana cards to go with that. So don't miss that. I do say to you, subscribe and press the bell so that you're notified when I go live or when I post a video, so that you can continue learning. I have a lot of curated information that I have collated over the years, and it's all together in this one platform here to help you. I can't teach you from start to finish. That's what my courses are all about. And if you're interested in learning tarot to go up to any level, particularly aimed at professional level, so that you can make an income from doing what you love and live your spiritual life, that's what these courses are aimed at. Why? Because I did that for years, supporting people. I taught it one-to-one, taught it in groups, I did conference calls, I did it in person, I did it in workshops, community centres, you name it. My Body and Spirit exhibitions, the lot. Now it's online, and how is it? It's a video, and once you've got it for life, so you can look at that. But I do urge you to look at books and learn as much as you possibly can, because if you want to be a professional reader, people want answers, and they want more than just maybe in this time, maybe it's 3 months, maybe 3 days. Oh gosh, I don't know, I think this, I feel that. They don't want that. I know there is a trend for people to actually give just one card and say that sort of fits all. And people say, you know, if it resonates with you, great. You can, of course, do that, but you can't do that when somebody's paying you for, say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour's reading. It's not going to be enough. And I have been incredibly blessed as a reader. And I mean that because it's allowed me to work remotely, work with people that I love, do what I love, share what I love, learn. You know, it was my hobby. And yeah, I gave a very good, the lucrative position to be able to switch to full-time reading a long time ago, because it created something that allowed that back in 2006, I think it was, when I really went to town. Yeah. This is also a card of love and romance. It's also very much about things like engagements marriage. I mentioned the word sex because it is the feminine side of everyone. If it's a man that you're reading for, not to worry. It has no gender. It's just the feminine side, the softer side that speaks of harmony and the earth and all living things. And it's all about wealth, health and abundance. Although I'd urge you not to go on about health in readings. For lots and lots of reasons, you need to be incredibly careful about that kind of thing. And there are people that would definitely want to question that if you're giving those kind of readings. But generically, that is the meaning. I'm passing that on to you. We're not going into any details about health. It's a card of security. It's a card of nurture, beauty. I've seen this so many times in a reading where it comes and you can honestly see that the person that is having a reading has somebody around that thinks highly of them and thinks they're beautiful as a human spirit. Sometimes it pops up in their physical appearance, and yes, there is a position for the physical, so you're able to tell them directly, gosh, I love the way you look, I love everything about you. Or actually they see you as a beautiful soul or beautiful spirit, or they absolutely value your mind, or they value your emotional integrity. So this is the kind of spread that I'm talking about. It's only on my courses. It's not about just a Celtic cross. And it's not about just using one card in one position. Stick with me on Tuesdays, tune in and you'll find out how to actually work with pairs. And from pairs then, if you want, you can go on and look at the courses and they are very reasonable, lovely. Value, beauty, mother nature, fertility. We've talked about that. She's in a position there to be fertile, so fertile with love. And it would depend on the other cards around it. And as I say, using pairs, it might be fertile when it comes to work matters or maybe family matters because of the minor card that's involved. And that's why pairs will actually tell you what's the missing link instead of going, oh, it's fertile in something. By using a pair, you're able to see exactly where it is. By using a position, you know who, what, where, when, and how. There are layers to it. It's like anything. It's like learning the alphabet before you actually start to write. You need all of your letters in place, and that's what this is about tonight. Just giving you the letters, and then not abandoning you, and being able to give you that bit more if you want it. She's linked to Mother Nature, as we've talked about, and the Empress represents things that are earthly and all about creativity. The Empress is emotionally intelligent and creatively intelligent, as we know. She is the principle of life and growth. Now, if we look at what she's got in her hand, she's got an oar, which represents her authority. So she's saying, take me serious. I have a presence and I have a status, and I am here because I am representing beauty, nature, and growth. And it's valued, and that's what that's about. It's her authority. The crown that she's wearing is covered in stars, as you can see, and then there's a little wreath around the top of her head, and that is about the fact that she has had victories of growth and that things have grown, and that's a symbol of her productivity and her practicality. The stars, there are 12, and they are associated with the 12 months of the year. Also, they are linked to the astrological houses from Aries to Pisces. And that is what her crown is all about, saying that she is working in harmony with all of creation. Also, if we look, she's got, it's hard to see, but it is there, she's got a necklace on. And that necklace is pearls. And pearls are very precious, but there are 9 pearls. And depending on what deck you've got, an old deck or a new deck, and it moves around in the Rider-Waite deck. But those 9 pearls represent the fact that in pregnancy, that a fetus can actually grow so we can give birth. So it's symbolic of giving birth. Not so much that you would say, hey, I've got this card of pregnancy. It can be, but it depends on what other cards you've got. Remember that it's the card of mother. If you look at that, just think of her as in she's got that loose gown on and that she's capable of mothering herself and giving birth to something. And I'm being in a place in a privileged position to have growth and manifest things. All the potential is there. She's very grounded, she's very loving, she's very sensual, she looks after herself, she values herself, she values other people, she is particular who she actually limits her time and her space and her capacity with. There's probably boundaries that she's got there, and she's very healthy, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, unless, of course, you see a card that's actually a minor card that's saying there's some struggles or obstacles that's going on. Maybe there's burnout, she's doing too much. It's a sign to go take note of that, and you can adjust course and navigate your way out of the obstacle. So that's our lovely Empress. So this is my PDF if you want to actually look at it. There you go. There's the Empress on there. On this PDF, I think this is £3.50 for the whole book of all the cards. You get the whole lot there. And they are key points. I call it my little white book. The difference is they are not little white book meanings that you would get in your tarot deck. They are key words that I would use as a professional reader that are slightly different to the generalized readings. They're much more nuanced. They've got much more depth, and hopefully they will connect with you really well. That's my little white book. Don't just rely on intuition, and keep learning. That is the key. I'm still learning, still buy books, still look for courses, look for something there. Yeah, I used to give readings here just to demonstrate how it would work. So if you're not sure of how my method is, why not go and have a look at some of my old videos about relationships? Thank you, everybody. One of the questions that I just feel that people sometimes feel like totally devastated about is they go, I've got a tarot deck. And they say it's this. And I say, oh God, it's called tarot, but it's a tarot oracle deck. How do you know the difference? Tarot deck's got 78 cards. And if it's got Rider-Waite on it, you know that you're actually looking at a tarot deck that's classic, just like the one I'm using. Why do we use it? Because of all that symbology. There's all sorts of beautiful decks, which I have, but they're not helpful when you're beginning your journey. They're just not, because they don't have the symbology, and that's a shame. And I'd hate anybody to miss out on all the beautiful symbols that are code, absolute code for your reading, that will help you go, gosh, I can feel it, I can see it, it all makes sense, absolutely. So I'm going to just put this gorgeous note on there from Abhishek, and I hope we'll see you again soon. Thank you.